Welcome to Ted's Tiny Trucks. Bit of an impromptu video today. I finished my Marlin yesterday after about a year's worth of tooling around and faffing about. I'm just about to take it outside and go and get the tyres muddy, which means it's never ever going to look this good again. So I thought I'd do a quick spin round for 5 minutes before I take it out and potentially ruin it. And this is where we are. So it's a 80s vintage Toyota Hilux by RC4WD Drive. It's nice, it comes with a bob bed, slightly truncated front end where the old bumper used to be. It's got their Yota 2 axles in it. It's nice. It's just, it's a front mounted motor, transmission, drive down to a transfer case, and then prop shafts to front and rear axles. This one's had a few tweaks, so as standard, the tyres have a habit of getting caught on these inner arches. So, excuse me fighting it, you get the old servo sound going, but I've got the lights on because I haven't had a truck with lights before. So I must admit, on the rear I've even put partitions in the lenses themselves to make sure that the top part of the light's not lit up. So I'm quite pleased. But if I turn that off now, the faff, so I've got the switches actually mounted, tucked up inside the body here, or the chassis there I should say. Turn it off. Right, so tyre wise, bit of a pain. They're still capable of catching in that back corner, but it's about as good as I could do. I have narrowed the track slightly by fitting narrower hubs to the wheels and slightly narrower hexes. So that's brought everything in, so it scribes a smaller arc as it steers, which is preferable. And then the other thing is it's running a set of parts from A&M garage out in the States. The biggest one of which is I've got the sliders, top and bottom, and a smooth skid plate underneath. So if you look from the side, you can see, lovely. I'll flash a photo up now of the standard one it comes with, and you can see the great boat anchor with hooks in it that just hangs down below and just makes life difficult. Potentially the only downside is, so with this plate you raise the transfer case up a few millimetres, which means your prop shafts actually need to be fractionally longer, and I've compounded that issue by fitting rubber O-rings above and below each leaf spring to give me a bit more articulation. Body wise, it's largely stock. I did cut the Toyota badging out on the back out of plastic card and glue that in place. I've also added a rain gutter across the back, again just fabricated from strips of plastic card. The paint is VW bright orange because it was the nicest orange I could get in Halfords, and these stripes are masked and painted in situ with Vallejo Air paints. And then yesterday I actually glued on the badges from CC Hand, or C-Chand, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. So you've got the Hilux 4-wheel drive either side, and then just nestled in the front, hopefully you can see on there, we've got the Toyota grill badge. That one I just soldered a U-shaped piece of brass on the back so that you can just slip it into place. The rig runs a worn winch on the front, and it's got RC4WD Drive lighting kit in it. Alas, it's missing the indicator here. I think that fell out in the box and probably got thrown away by accident, which was slightly frustrating. But, yeah, it's a good looking rig. I wanted a Toyota for ages, particularly one with a bob bed, and when RC4WD Drive came out with a Marlin, because it's got the Yota 2 axles and the bits and pieces on it, I thought, yeah, it's got to be done. So it's running a full interior. I don't know if we can zoom in and see. Yeah, so you've got seats, steering, etc., and that's all been painted in a tasteful 80s beige and brown combination. Right, have a quick look underneath. Okay, it makes a bit of a racket doing this, so I'm going to unhook it from the front inner arches. So I'll just do a quick show while they're on, so you can see, you can't see anything through the truck, which is good for mud, better for photographs, but they all sort of ping free. And then you've just got a flying lead off the servo, off the receiver box to feed the lighting, which is then just rigged around the outside as a shell. So layout's quite nice. motor, transmission, transfer case underneath the mount, and then prop shafts front and rear. I've relocated the ESC from this side to that to counteract the weight of the motor to a small amount, or small degree I should say, and then the winch controller sits at the front here with all the cabling basically following all the factory routes to tidy it up. Battery sits across the back. Had to make a couple of aluminium brackets because the battery wouldn't sit on the original battery tray with the mounting posts, so I've made some slight tweaks to do that. And then the only other interesting points are the body mounts themselves are turned up from aluminium. As you can see, that they've got an offset mounting hole in them, and that allows me to bias the body either slightly further back, slightly further up, or in this case a compromise between the two, chiefly to try and get away from that tyre and wheel conflict problem. The arches themselves they came from Axial, and actually they used to sit at the rear on my SCX-102 kit. When that got upgraded to the GRC plastic arches, I had these going spare, and actually for the amount of savagery needed to get them in, they did a good job, and they were quite cheap, i.e. basically free. The only slightly tacky bit is a bit of Lexan glued on the back and painted inside and out, just to cut down the influence of mud and stuff inside the truck. And there we go, I think that's it really. There's a couple of spaces on the rear shocks as well. When they came from factory, it was too close, so it used to bind up. That's been tweaked. Other than that, it's essentially stock. I have upgraded the prop shafts because I found when everything had been raised up inside the truck and the axles lowered, I hadn't got enough thread engagement on the centre of the prop shafts. So it just potentially, at full lift, if you give it a little tweak, bang, that was enough to get the rear one out. So it's been upgraded with Punisher shafts, front and rear, and we'll see how they last. The other thing I did do was the Chino mod on the front springs. So front springs, you can see they've got fixed hanger at the front here, and then they use the loose shackle at the back here. The kit as standard has those swapped the wrong way round. This is the correct way per factory then. So that was another part from A&M Garage, which came along at the same time as the sliders, new transfer case mount and new skid plate. So yeah, highly recommended parts. Look good, fit really well, laser cut, nicely folded, nicely machined. If you can get them from him, fantastic, well worth it. Right, I think that'll do. A little bit rushed, but the clocks went back last night. I'm not sure how long we're going to have sunshine for, and it's a beautiful day out there. So I'll go and get it muddy, and I'm going to try not to scratch it up. Right, hopefully some footage to follow.